Hi there, it's Karen from Vintage Style Journals. Just like to bring a different little video for you this afternoon, and I think everyone's going to be able to do this, and it doesn't matter what kind of brand of stamps you have. If you're into embossing, then I've figured out a way to actually use some gorgeous stamps, cut them out beautifully into the perfect shape, and then emboss them. And then I'm going to probably make another video on how I paint the embossed stamps. I've put them on vellum, but before I go ahead and tell you how I did that, what I'm going to do is just show you these gorgeous stamps of the Iron Orchid design collection. This is the one I love, absolutely love, and this is the rose toile, and I'm very into toile, as you know. So I'll just show you, that's the design of the stamp there, the rose toile. It's just absolutely beautiful. What I've used from this stamp today is only the dragonfly. I'm just looking for some easy, smallish sort of stamps to start with, just to see if I could do what I was hoping I could do. But I'm going to use this beautiful toile stamp in my lovely little paper bag journal that I'm creating. The other one is this one here, which is, what is this design? I'm sure you probably all know what it is, but I'll just need to, the Lady of Shalott. And these are the stamps here, and it's a 2-sheet set. Magnificent, beautiful for stamping on furniture or just making some really gorgeous designs throughout your journals. I've used a couple of these today. I've used one of the leaf, one of this flower here. I'm not sure what that flower there is, and a couple of the rosebuds. So I'll be showing you how I came about doing what I was doing. I started off just stamping some of their designs onto vellum, and I've used a what's the name of it's called a weathered white embossing powder, and it gives you like a really gorgeous texture on the top of it. But I thought I'll stamp some designs onto vellum and then I'll fussy cut around them. Well, I fussy cut around a couple of them. That's one, the dragonfly, and the rose, which I've since painted over top of it, over top of the actual embossing, and I'll show you that in my next video. But what I was doing was, oh my goodness, I was thinking, this is ridiculous. Cutting around all of these is going to take me forever. Then I thought, I could just give them as little giveaways when people purchase. I like to give a couple of extra things along just as a little thank you gift. And I thought I could just throw a couple of these in, but I thought I'll try fussy cutting around them, and it took me a little while, and I'm not a very patient person when it comes to cutting out, so I thought I've got to figure out a way to get this cut out easily so that I'm not mucking around for too long with it, and I'm more inclined to use these stamps more as a sort of a cutout. So what I've actually done is I've used my Cameo 3. Oh, well, firstly, I'll go back. I stamped onto here, which is like a permanent black ink stamped onto just a card. And then I've put it into my printer, and I've scanned the design as it is. I haven't changed the size or anything. And when I saved the scan, I always scan on at least 300 dpi. Sometimes I do 600, but for this it's 300. It's beautifully, perfect. So I stamped it in the black so I could see it. And then I scanned it and I saved it as a JPEG. And saving it as a JPEG enabled me to actually put it through my Cameo and do some quick designing of, making cutouts of the design. So I had to do them each individually. And then people who have a Cameo will know what I'm probably talking about. But I'm thinking I need to speak to the IOD sisters to see if I can perhaps sell the shapes. If people have this stamp, they can actually just stamp the shapes as I've done. But for now, I'm just going to show you how I did it, and perhaps you can do it if you have I think it's a Cricut or a scan and cut, that type of thing. This is the way to go. So I would be putting the design of the stamp on the card, scanning it into your printer, and then actually keeping it the same size. Don't change the size at all. This is an A4 piece of card that I've stamped these things onto. And so yeah, then just put it through your program and go into the setting where you would make your cutouts. And I put it at a 0.05 so that I got right up close to the edge without having an extra bit around it. If you prefer the extra bit around the side of it, then do it at a 0.1, but I did it at a 0.05. And this is what I came up with. I'll just move that aside. I came up with this. So I put a few different shapes onto my cameo, and then what I've done is I've cut it out onto the vellum using the setting in the vellum section on the cutting machine. And then what I did was I left it on the cutting mat, and then I've just gone over with each of the stamps and stamped it just straight down onto the actual cutout once I remove the excess paper. And then what I did after that was I actually used a Versamark. So that's what I used to actually stamp onto each of the stamps with the stamp design. And then what I did was I actually put some embossing powder over, which is here, as you can see. I'm going to heat that in a minute. But for those of you that haven't used embossing powder, I don't know who you might be, but you just never know. I don't assume anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this straight over the top of the stamps. And where are we? Yeah, I usually end up using the whole jar, and it doesn't matter because it's all going to go back in the jar. You use such a small amount of this stuff, even though you might pour out a whack of it. Yeah, it just really comes down to just a few grains, really, that is actually attaching itself to the oily consistency which comes through the Versamark. I think it's just like a, oh gee, I can't think of the name of the product that is made from, but yeah, it's just basically an oily consistency to the stamp pad. So it leaves a very light sheen over the top of the stamp. You can actually do the same with, I have the Stamping Up stamps as well, and they're a wonderful stamp to use for embossing, the stamp powder rather, the stamp pads rather. They're great because I'm just shaking off, just picking it up with my tweezers here. Oh, they're not really tweezers, they're forceps. Oops, I don't want to, just be careful. Just give it a light tap and you'll get a majority of the embossing powder off. I'm just moving them over to my other piece of card here just so that I can get started on heating it up. A little bit dropsy with this, but yeah, so I thought it saved me an awful lot of amount of time to actually, rather than cutting around them, putting them through my Cameo 3. I love that thing. I've had it for a couple of years now. My daughter and husband and friends bought it for me for a few birthdays ago, I think when I turned 60. So there you go, you've got a bit of an idea as to how old I am. Not that you probably care, but so yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing to own. And I make all my stickers that I sell, all my vintage style stickers I make on my Cameo 3. And I just try to figure out different ways to use it because, you know, it gets a really good workout, I can tell you. So I'm just going to pop this back into the the jar, and doing it on card or on some kind of paper background just helps you to, you know, not waste your product. No, there we go. Just get rid of that. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly go over the embossing, but I really just wanted to talk about how I got the shapes today, and I'm just so excited about it because I'm going to do this with a lot of my stamps, and I think I'm going to have to ask the girls who created these original stamps if I can, you know, perhaps do them up and sell them. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but anyway, we're going to give it a shot. So, yeah, my hubby bought me this beautiful Azito heat gun. It's a wacky-do job, and I love it. Let's see the front of it, because you can change the temperatures on it, and it's got lots of attachments to it. I just use this one. But the beautiful thing about this one is it can actually stand up like, I'll just bring my camera back. It can actually stand up. So yeah, it's got this on the back of it, so I can just pop it there, and then just, I'm not going to do it because my camera's in the way, but I'm just going to keep it on a lowish sort of heat set. It's got a couple of different speeds, and I think, I don't know, it doesn't tell you the temperatures on here. It just has a 1 to, you know, plus and minus on there, but I'm assuming that this is about, maybe 200 or 300 degrees or something. So I'm just going to gently go over these, and you'll see that the colour will change. I don't know whether the noise will be a bit prohibitive, but I'm usually pretty good at talking over noise. So here we go. Oh no, it's not too noisy. Okay, so that's not going to work. I'm just going to have to do them individually. Yeah. Last time I did the other ones, they were all on the one sheet. So I'm just going to grab this one here, just so that I don't want to take away the actual embossing powder. So I'm just going to hold it up like that. I'll move the others out of the way so they don't blow around. And I'm just going to give it a go. And that's too high. Put it on one. So yeah, this will go beautifully white in a minute, and then you can leave it like this because it's really quite an elegant. I might go underneath it, because going underneath it still heats up the actual embossing powder, and it doesn't tend to blow the embossing powder off. I think I might have mentioned that in one of my other videos. Just be careful with your fingers, obviously. I'm holding this one a little bit close to the edge of the faucets here, but you can see that it's actually changing colour. You can use whatever colour you like on it, but I'm using the white. Well, it's kind of like a creamy white, but I'll just pop that down from that and grab here because that's done. And that's it. Stand up, you beautiful baby, you. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? And that's just through using my cutting machine. So if you like to fussy cut, then, you know, go for it to your heart's content. But I'm a bit of a lazy crafter. I like things done now. So I've figured out the way to do just a beautiful, perfect shape rather than have to go around it. Yeah, so I hope this has been helpful for all of you people out there who love stamping and embossing, and even if you have a Cameo 3, I might put up the instructions on the video anyway, and I'll put a link to the IOD sisters because they have these gorgeous stamps. I've also got a link to where I actually purchased these stamps from. Well, my husband purchased them for me for Christmas, bless his heart. So yeah, please subscribe if you feel that this is a great video or an informative video that you've enjoyed. Share it with your friends, and I'm going to try and be putting up videos every Wednesday. So come back next Wednesday. You might get one in between because I just can't help myself. But I'm going to be using some of these lovely little pieces in the journal that I'm making, the bag journal that I've been going through. So the next episode of that will be up shortly. Okay, thank you again for watching.